My name's Dak. That's my initials. There's a lot of Davids around when I first moved to the island years ago, and I signed all my work with Dak when I was doing I used to do a bit of sign writing and that. We're pretty much at Cape Woolamai, which is my home now, which I've always hung in here. This used to be the Bronx of Phillip Island years ago, and I loved it. They've cleaned it all up, put roads in, and then now there's probably, I don't know, maybe a dozen houses, or dozen blocks I should say, that are empty in the whole area. And this is my little mini studio. I've got a bigger studio elsewhere, but this is where I actually do my best work. It's sort of, the gardens are really quite nice here, and it gives you that nice feel. Well, I do all forms of sort of artwork. I started out painting. I found it a little bit too mellow. I needed to get something where I could get rough with it a little bit. My main thing at the moment is the metal sculptures. Well, it's been, I've been doing it for probably 20 years now, on and off, just little bits and pieces. Initially, when I was first doing it, I was in not a very nice place mentally. Like, I wasn't real happy with the situation I was in, whatever's. And the sculptures was really good for me, because I just could lose myself in them with a lot of, you lose a bit of anger in there. You could get nasty with them, belt a hunk of metal quite viciously, and it's not hurting anyone. After doing certain pieces, like, you'd find a way of going to another level, of finding a calm place. Some days I couldn't do the metal work at all. I couldn't see it, so I'd go and paint, or I'd go and strip a transmission apart, or an old sewing machine, and lose myself in that for a while, and then in the process find that one piece which go, hang on, alright, that's going there, that's something, and I could just start from that one little piece that I found, and like I could go to the tip and see, there's a pile of rubbish there, and just there it is, and just see this one spot where there's a interesting shape, and go, I know what that is, and I'd have to work on it. And I used to do full stints where I just work all through the night, sort of thing, because I just had to do it. I could lose days sometimes, just that's all I'm doing, I've got to get it done, and that's where I think I found that focus. I do like to voice, some opinions and use my artwork for that. I just sort of, I don't know, it's more recognising a time. Like my gate up the road, for instance, that was to recognise that time when the desalination plant was going in and whatnot. And that sort of, for me, was not really drilling them and drilling on about the desal plant, but just saying that's this moment. It's more about that to me. It's not about really saying, hey, you shouldn't do this, whatever's. But yeah, it's more for just remembering a time for me, my moments, my little moments, everyone's experienced those moments. For instance, dude out at the Backpackers, that sculpture, that was from probably when I was in my mid-20s sort of thing, down here, and the road was, the Woolamai Road was just sand, and it was awesome. It was a really cool time, and there was hardly any crew really around. But that was that time for me, and same with the motorbike guy out at the gun centre. I've been wanting to make that for years, pretty much, and that time with the chopper it's more like, when I was up in Queensland, I see guys going past me, and I'll be in the old black panel van, and they go past me with a surfboard on the back, and they'll be in thongs and shorts riding to the beach to go surfing on the motorbike, and I go, that's just crazy. But not the elaborate chopper like I've done, but just some putt-putt sort of bike, and I thought that was pretty cool. I like surfing, but I have to do my work as well. Everywhere I go, that's why the panel van was awesome. Trek around up and down the coast, and I could just find some driftwood and whatever's on the beach, and some bits of metal, and just muck around with it. I live here with my partner Kate, and we have numerous amount of critters which we look after, and they look after us, because you got to have critters, because I do look after a few animals here and there as well when they get injured, or at the moment we've got a little magpie, which is pretty cool. It's very funny actually. And when it gets dark, we've got the frogs in the pond, which are pretty cool. So I get commissioned a few jobs here and there. At the moment I'm doing one, which is a dragon, which is great. It's a gate, but it's a dragon, which is quite unusual. It's like, yeah, cool, it's fun, but I know exactly where it's going. I've got it all set up. It's just, yeah, it's hard sometimes with material costs, because I don't even know myself when I'm doing stuff. I go, oh, that's going to cost way more than what I sort of said the job was going to be. Oh no, but I have to do it though, because it, you know, even if I lose, I still have to do it, because it's my, they're all my babies, they're all my puppies, all these jobs, every piece, I love them. So, you know, and I'll go back, I'll do drive-bys, they'll see me drive by, yeah, I'm having a look, you know, just having another look at it, and yeah, it's all part of it to me. As soon as I was on the island, I basically just straight into having to go at surfing. Totally wrong at it, as we all are when you first try something, but I found it was just so awesome just being in the water. It was just worthy, you know, like you felt like you had a reason to be. And back when you're like, I was probably 16, 17, in that confused, what the hell am I here for? I don't have a clue. And then, oh, this is kind of cool. And that was, I think that was a big factor for me, because I was a bit lost as a kid. So, you know, being a loner, I didn't spend a lot of time with other crew. So, and surfing was good, because you could be alone, but you still be with crew. You know, you could do stuff and end up catching up with people, you know, just from how you're doing at the beach. And I met people through that. And then working, you know, doing some signs and that, I met a lot of crew too. So it was a good place. I liked the whole feel of it, because I was someone who, I wasn't even a trained sign writer, and I was doing signs for crew I met and got along with, and it worked out really good, because I could throw that art thing in it. You know, it wasn't just doing signs, it was just more, for me, it was any excuse to get them, to talk them into painting something like a kooky little dude or something. And I was like, yeah, you know, and I was getting paid for it. I was like, oh, this is too good, you know. Money's not everything. No, I'd rather be broke and doing something I love than to be rich and hate it. What's the point in that? The work I do is for myself. When it really comes down to it, I'm not doing it because, you know, it's not a real, it's not as if I make a ton of money out of what I do. I just survive most of the time, and it's not about the funds. It's just I have to get up in the morning and start doing something, and I have to make this stuff. It's just, it drives me mad sometimes, but I wouldn't have it any other way, I reckon, because, you know, I've thought about it over years, and I've tried doing regular jobs, and it just doesn't work for me. You know, there's no real rules when it comes to art. There shouldn't be anyway. You just do it, and if it feels good, it's right.